I had nothing better to do that winter, so I decided to make car salesmen miserable for my own tiny, vindictive entertainment. I'd test drive a car, order it, go into finance, and then blow up the deal over a few $100s. The look on their faces was priceless. You want the honest, unvarnished truth? I was bored between jobs one winter and decided to turn my downtime into a very small social experiment. Not a noble study, not a movement. A dumb, petty little thing where I got to watch people scramble and squirm. If you've ever bought a car, you already know the carnival of nonsense that goes on at a dealership. If you haven't, buckle up. I picked weekdays, when the showrooms were full of salesmen killing time. The ones who aren't busy with customers sit around and act busy with coffee and the newspaper, but they're always watching. I'd walk in, make eye contact with the nearest person, and play the part. Polite. Interested. I'd ask for a test drive. I'd trade a sob story about being between cars or upgrading. I'd get a price sheet. I'd even go as far as asking about a trade-in. I had an old prepaid card. Long empty, zero balance. The perfect prop. I'd tell them sure, put the $500 deposit on it. The sales folks don't take that card to charge right there. That's usually left for the finance guys to deal with later. It smells official, and the salesman gets hopeful because the customer is serious. Then came the stage where the deal is supposed to be nailed down, the finance office. That's where the numbers go from list price to how many fees can we bury inside this monthly payment, and where the finance guy gets to add his markup, his add-ons, and yes, his cut. Here's my routine, and feel free to steal none of it. I'd sit down with the finance guy, let them run through the paperwork, and listen as they added the extra fees. Paint protection, VIN etching, bogus. Processing charges that exist to make a sale look smaller on paper while padding the bottom line. 10, 20, 30 little fees. The finance guy would look at my prepaid deposit and make noises about how it covers some paperwork, takes this off here, and boom, numbers shift. And then I would do the most satisfying thing. I'd start arguing. Not politely. I'd knock down each charge, one by one. Why am I paying for a dealer prep fee when this car was just on the lot? Why is fabric protection $899? It's amazing how many people will defend things they know are nonsense when their paycheck depends on it. The salesman, the manager, and the finance guy would cluster around, watching, trying to charm me back into submission. After 15 minutes of this, when they had used up their best lines, the guilt play, the if you walk now the price will jump play, I'd finish the script. I'd look at the room, the stack of papers, and smile. That's it. F***KU and your deal. And I walked out. What made this work wasn't just the walkout. It was the line I left hanging in the air. Your finance guy just blew up the deal over a couple $100, but I have your price, and I'll shop it around. If I can't beat it, I'll be back and you'll sell me the car anyway. I wanted them to know the loss was real, a commission that was now gone, and a customer who might have been theirs. This routine did a few things. First, it exposed how fragile a lot of these deals are. One small variance, and the commission evaporates. Second, it turned the salesman against finance. There's a tension in many dealerships between the front line and the back office. Salespeople hustle you through the door and then get furious when the finance guy kills their sale with a different agenda. I loved watching the salesman storm into the finance office to ask, "Why did you blow the deal?" He'd be animated, red-faced, all pride and lost commission. The finance guys would shrug, because their job is protecting margins and they get paid differently. Was this mean? Yeah. Was it childish? Definitely. But it made the winter fly by, and I got to watch the industry's little gears grind. Every week, I'd go to a different dealership, run the same play, and listen to the same arguments. Sometimes the sales manager would apologize and say, "Sorry about our guy." Other times the finance manager would loudly explain that the deposit would not have covered their risk, and therefore the paperwork had to be adjusted. There were moments that were actually hilariously petty. One finance guy tried to add a few convenience fees that were so obviously invented I called him on it, and he turned 5 shades of defensive. A group of 3 men tried to bully me into signing. They went into every persuasion technique you can imagine. I'd watch people be polite while being conned. I'd watch people turn into harpies when someone disrupted their paycheck. There's a strange theater to it. Did I ever actually buy a car that way? Sometimes I'd circle back once I'd gotten my closure and actually wanted the vehicle. I'd go to a different lot or call back later, or negotiate with a fresh salesperson who hadn't watched the whole collapse. Other times I just liked the walkout. The real joy was the shock on professional faces, the sense that a single dissatisfied customer could flatten the afternoon's commission hopes. I'll be honest, I didn't invent anything noble. I was being petty. I was coming from a place of resentment and boredom. But I was also learning how the system was assembled. The tiny margins, the theater of the closing, the way money was carved up once you sat in that finance office. If there's a lesson in there, it's maybe this: know what you're signing. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to call out ridiculous fees. And if you feel like it, once in a while, walk out and see how invested they actually were. And one last parting note. Dealers often talk about no hard feelings when a deal collapses, but it's not the same as seeing the commission vanish. The salesman loses a weekend's worth of potential checks. The finance guy loses whatever kickbacks he was lining up. To me, that was a tiny, private satisfaction. For them, it was a lesson in how precarious their lucrative little world can be when a customer refuses to be their puppet. So next time you're at a dealership and the spreadsheet gets fancy, remember, $200 of nonsense can ruin someone's day. And sometimes, that's the only justice you get. If you like this little revenge story, hit like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, have you ever walked out on a car deal? I read every comment. Also, if you want more stories like this, hit that bell.